All praises and glory belong to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Basham Kakodash, and double honors unto the elders and to the apostles of Great and Stone, and salutations to the hopefully elect. I read the men that are pushing this word out in truth and in sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Yakal coming at you with another lesson, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Alright, and this one gonna be touching on the recent earthquakes in Venezuela. Alright, and it says in picture, Venezuela earthquake death toll surpasses 1,700. Alright, we're within the span of 72 hours, Venezuela was hit with two massive earthquakes. Alright, I think it was probably within 2 days, back to back. Basically, they were hit with two massive earthquakes. Alright, now, what I wanted to get into is Matthew chapter 24, alright, and verse 3 on down, where and Salaki, I'm driving, so I can just keep this on screen, quote the precepts, and go and get into it, right? Now, in Matthew chapter 24, it talks about what? The disciples came unto Yahushua asking him what going to be the signs of his coming. Alright? One of his signs was that you shall see earthquakes in diverse places. Alright? Now when you go into the word diverse, it goes back to the word throughout. Alright? So pretty much throughout the entire globe, you're going to see earthquakes and different natural disasters happening. Even in places where it's not known, to have these natural disasters. All right. Now, what is it that makes this earthquake in Venezuela so interesting or so foretelling of Yahushua's coming or of the end times is there's a region between Venezuela, here in Guyana, where I am, Brazil. All right. In that region where these countries connect, they call it the Amazon Basin. And you can look it up. All right. Now, what is the Amazon Basin? It's where I think it has to do with the tectonic plates and whatever, all sort of bullshit. But nonetheless, the point is that in this Amazon Basin, or given that these countries form the Amazon Basin, alright, is a natural defense mechanism where they would not be hit by certain natural disasters. And for matter of fact, you know what? Let me look it up. Right? Let me look it up. Amazon Basin. Let me see if AI can see anything, right? The Amazon Basin is the world's largest drainage system, covering 2.7 million square miles. Amazon River. It spans Brazil, Paraguay, Colombia, French Guyana, yada yada yada, biodiversity, climate, and carbon sink. Yeah, but you could get into it, right? Can't read this right now. But yeah, it forms the Amazon Basin, where it's a natural defense mechanism against different natural disasters, your earthquakes, your hurricanes, and these different things, because even in the region that we're in, Trinidad is not too far off, Barbados is not too far off, and they would be, constantly hit by different hurricanes all right, and these different things, cyclones and whatever. But these countries here in South America, they are being hit with these things. You know, Haiti is not far off, and Haiti was hit with a massive earthquake, you know, not too long ago. All right, probably about 10 years ago, 2015, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Now, for Venezuela to be hit with 2 earthquakes of that magnitude, 7.2, all right, it tell you that what this is what the end time. All right, this is prophecy. You know, when you go into the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9, it says, when thou seest part of the sign come to pass, then thou shalt know that this is the very same time that the highest had spoken of these before the world was. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, because that's also, you know, spoken of in the book of 2nd Ezra. All right, where what you're gonna see these earthquakes and uproars of the people and all these different things happening. You know, so hey, we are literally in the end time. You know, we're in the end time. All right, and the Lord is getting ready to what? Destroy this place. You know, He's getting ready to destroy this place. All right, you're seeing you know, the different wars and things that's happening across the globe. Hey, that's just for telling of the time that we're in. You know, now going back to the earthquake in Venezuela, that's also the Most High judging His people, because the Venezuelans, they are Israelites too. You know, they would be Asher. All right, they would be the Asher. You know, the tribe of Asher. You know, and they've been on some wickedness too. You know, that place is full of adultery, idol worshiping. All right, because they're strong in that Jesus bullshit, and then too they into witchcraft as well. You know, so the Most High is judging His people too. The scriptures say what? That for judgment must begin at the house of the Lord. You know, so you're gonna see, you know, the Israelites, they're first gonna get it. All right, they're first are going to get it. You know, they first will get it. You know, and then the scripture say what? If the righteous scarcely be saved, then where shall the ungodly appear? You know, so you see, Haiti had its dose. You know, Venezuela now feeling their own. All right, and like the article was mentioned, is that what the death toll surpassed 1,700. All right, and it's only going to get worse because I think it was mentioning about 5,000 injured. You know, some of those would be critical injuries. All right, they're hanging on by the thread. All right, so hey, we just keeping abreast, keeping up to date with what's happening. All right, you got to keep up to date with what's happening. You know, so I got some traffic right now, so let me just hit a couple of paragraphs in this. It says, with the window for finding survivors closing fast, Venezuelans are combing through the ruins of buildings toppled by last week's powerful back-to-back earthquakes, amid growing fears of humanitarian crisis that could last years. You know, and the fucked up thing about it, right, is that they already have a major crisis going on with them right now. They have hyperinflation that they've been battling, you know, since what, 2010. All right. Since 2010, they've been battling with hyperinflation. You know. All right. Never mind that they recently, a couple of years ago, they start selling their oil and stuff like that, selling back their oil, I should say. All right. They've been dealing with crazy hyperinflation. All right. That's why you see a flood of Venezuelans here in Guyana. You know, it says so that then coupled with the earthquake, because that's a setback, you know, infrastructure wise, healthcare wise. All right, because there's a mass of you know, stuff that got to be used to take care of the people, economic wise. All right, because people ain't working. You know, shit. It says authorities said on Monday that at least 1,719 Slovakia people have been killed and 5,034 injured in the twin earthquakes that struck on Wednesday in the northern state of La Guaira. Tens of thousands more remain missing or unaccounted for. Rising pressure on cash-strapped government already struggling to house and feed those left homeless. You know, so yeah, that's what you have happen. You know, amidst an earthquake. You know, you're gonna have a host of people that are now homeless. You have a host of people now left homeless. So like, yeah. All right. Yeah. Where we at? Yeah, a host of people left homeless. All right, you're gonna have the government now need to inject subsidies and different things to take care of the people, which is only going to fuck up the economy even more. You know, further inflate their currency. All right, and they've been going through it. Now to have, you know, crazy subsidies and shit injected into their economy. Look, their economy already fucked. Is gonna be fucked all the way up. All right, it's gonna be messed all the way up. You know. You see? So the Lord is what? Judging his people. All right. It says facing criticism that they have moved too slowly, officials have heavily promoted their response. Police and soldiers handed out cans of tuna and crackers to displaced residents in La Guaira, while National Assembly President George Rodriguez said electricity had been restored to 90% of the state and 15 temporary camps have been set up. All right. Yeah, a magnitude 4.6 of shock struck near Carabelda on Monday. One of more than 600 tremors recorded since the initial magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 quakes. No new damages. All right, no new damages reported, but the shock sent Caracas residents screaming into the streets. You know, because now they in crazy fear. All right, the slightest tremor that they feel is gonna have them, you know, in running. You know, right now, one of the things that looked into recently is that the scale or the magnitude of an earthquake, when they talk about a magnitude 7 versus a magnitude 6, all right, it's not just one step up. All right, it's literally the magnitude 7 is almost 1,000 times stronger than a magnitude 6, and so on and so forth, in terms of a magnitude 5 compared to a magnitude 4. So magnitude 4 tremor is relatively not crazy. All right, when you get to magnitude 7, 8, 9, all right, that's when you're gonna see real destruction. All right, let's not even talk about 9. Let's talk about 8. Look at what happened to Haiti. All right, and to this day they're still battling with it. All right, and then you're gonna have these politicians that's gonna not really care about the people and whatever. They're gonna do their own shit. You see, so that place is about to get worse. All right, and this is a warning to Guyana as well, because that's right next door. And that luxury that they believe in, which is the Amazon basin. Hey, the Most High is about to show that, look, He created all things, and He can do whatever He will with all things. So, Lord's willing, this quick one was edifying, giving all praises, honor and glory to Yahweh Bashmi Haushai, Basham Kakodash, and double honors unto the elders and to the apostles of Great Stone, and salutations to the hopefully elect. All right, the men that are pushing this word out in truth and in sincerity. Shalom.